Welcome to the HR Happy Hour Work Break. You are here with Trish and Steve. Steve Bowes, you're live.
Hey Trish, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. Good to see you. Happy Friday. It's
Happy
almost the weekend, as it
Friday.
were.
I know. I'm glad it's Friday. It's been a lot of travel, and I feel like the next week I am home and not traveling. How about you?
I am not traveling as well. There's plenty more to do this fall, but we just got back, respectively, from Oracle Cloud World earlier in this
That's
week, which was a
right.
great experience, and maybe we can chat about that for a moment.
You know what? I'm glad you said that because we recorded a little bit there. I would recorded a lot there. Let's be honest. And no, there were so many new announcements and just big news, not just for HCM but for all of business, right? Because Oracle sort of touches all of your business needs.
Mhm.
But let's talk a little HCM. So we were there. We saw keynotes. We went to some sessions. What were some of the big things that you heard that you were really excited about?
Yeah, I just think the ongoing expansion of the cloud HCM footprint, both in capabilities, some of which were announced at the event, specifically in the recruiting space,
Hmm.
and then additionally, just their ongoing growth across the footprint of customers, the hundreds and hundreds of customers, and in fact, and thousands to hundreds of thousands of employees who work for these customers added to the Cloud HCM platform just in a number of just a few short months. I think at one point, Chris Leone from Oracle said something like 800,000 new employees went live on Oracle Cloud HCM in the last 60 days or so, which is a shockingly high number of individual people, workers, if you will. When you think about, I don't know, he didn't give the breakdown where these workers were in the world, but just to keep it in perspective, there's about 152, 154 million workers in the United States. So when you're
Hmm.
talking about numbers close to a million employees, that's a lot. That's
It's a
significant in a
lot.
really short time.
It's a lot, and I'm glad you mentioned that because we had talked to at least 2 customers, 2 big customers who are both going to be on the podcast later on in the coming weeks, but, one was, from Baylor University and the other was
Mhm.
from Heathrow Airport. So again, big employers, lots of employees affected. Both went live during the pandemic. So, it
Yeah.
was really interesting for me to hear not only did they go live and have great support from Oracle and from the teams there. But to be able to do that during a pandemic when most of your people, or I guess all, were at home. So they had to completely change how they went through testing. They had to completely change how they went through just change management,
Yeah.
announcements, everything, right? Everything was totally different. But the end result was that they all did it successfully. So I know you and I have both been through big implementations like that in person over
Mhm.
our careers, and to think about doing that remote, wow, it's exciting that they were able to make that happen during a pandemic.
Yeah, and one of the things, the themes we hear over and over for when we talk to Oracle and we talk to Oracle customers
Mhm.
specifically is one of the benefits of having such a wide array, that breadth of capability across that platform, right? So encompassing payroll and HR and benefits and recruiting and learning and performance and goals, right?
Mhm.
Having that all in one platform is remarkable. And the employee experience platform, which is one of the latest innovations that they've created, the Oracle Me platform, there's huge advantage to
Yeah.
large enterprises in being able to consolidate systems into one platform. And Heathrow, in particular, talked about that. And you'll hear that on the podcast about how they were able to simplify their applications footprint and bring and consolidate more capabilities and functionalities into that one consolidated platform, which sounds boring, right, when you talk about it, but actually creates incredible benefits and efficiencies and cost savings, quite frankly, to the enterprise. So well done. It
Yeah.
was a great event, super fun. So good to see a lot of our friends get up to speed on what's happening with technology there at Oracle, and have some fun meeting customers and partners as well.
Yeah, it was wonderful. And again, just sort of I think when you talk to people, obviously we've had Chris Leone on the show before. He's very passionate about the work that he and the HCM team specifically are working on things. But when you see him in person, when you see Yvette Cameron in person and Chris Havrilla in person, a lot of the key executives who are really trying to make this product the most forward thinking that it can possibly be. You see their passion, and
Yeah.
that's what really is a game changer too. It's not only is it, encompassing everything, and like you mentioned, the Oracle Me, which I know was an award winner, right? With
Yeah.
the HR
Top product of the
Technology
year from
Conference.
HR Executive. Yeah.
Product of the year, there you go. So I think it's just when all those components come together, right? So it's not just that it's innovation, it's not just that they're award winning, it's not just that they have this passion. It's when you see kind of all of that together in person. It's really impressive. So congratulations to the team Oracle, as we'll call them. And yeah, it's really fun, and we can't wait to see what you're going to do next year. So
Yeah, so look for
good
the
stuff.
podcast, the first one. I don't know when it's running, maybe next week, maybe a little bit after
Mhm.
that, but we've got 3 podcasts coming and more to come from our friends at Oracle. So yeah, good. And Trish, last thing I want to mention to you before we go on a Friday afternoon, I'm in my baseball garb here today,
You are.
My New York Mets shirt, my Kansas City Royals hat. We just finished recording, you and I, right before we did this video. We recorded a Workplace Movie Hall of Fame podcast on the movie Field of Dreams,
We
starring
did.
Kevin Costner, and that was fun. So I tried to adjust the baseball part for that, and
Oh.
hopefully that'll come out soon as well. Maybe that's coming out next week. There's so many shows. I don't know when anything's running, but it was fun to talk about that movie just for a little while.
Yeah, and you know what? Speaking of shows, can we also just give a shout out to Jack McFarlane and Nick Schlemmer? They did their first ever episode of the play-by-play,
They
which is
did.
obviously going to be sports related. But if you listen to the HR Happy Hour, even if you don't, listen in now, because they're Gen Z. They are going to be talking about everything on what you need to know if you are trying to market to Gen Z people, if you're trying to hire Gen Z people, if you're working with Gen Z people. Like, they're going to give you all of that, plus sports, plus pop culture and more.
What's happening
So
in the world of college students. Hey, I didn't even know if you know this,
everything.
Trish. I was informed slightly earlier today, though, that the Play-by-Play podcast on the HR Happy Hour Network received their first official guest pitch. They've already been pitched.
Did they?
Yeah, it came through the website. If you go to
Really?
hrhappyhour.net, there's a link on there somewhere where we can be pitched.
Oh
And
my gosh.
yeah, I don't know. I didn't read the pitch, but it was just described to me. But it's a real pitch from a company that helps organizations work with Gen Z employees or recruit
Look
them or
at
something.
this.
I don't know all the details of it, but it's a real pitch, and
Oh
that
my
from
goodness.
a real CEO from a real company who wants to come on the play-by-play. So I think we're going to try to make that happen, and so look forward to that
And
too.
you know what? Can we just say that that's how it should be, right? I was amazed. Obviously, we don't tell them what to talk about or anything. We were just like, you can have a podcast, has to be professional, has to be well thought out and researched. And they're delivering. So I'm so proud of them. That's wonderful news. Well, good stuff. You
Good
just made
stuff.
my day on a Friday. How about that? How about that? All right. Well, listen. Hey, everyone. Steve mentioned Field of Dreams. Go watch that this weekend. Go watch it, and then next week or so, when we put the podcast out there, we'd love to hear what you think too. Share in the comments. Also, we've had a suggestion for Shawshank Redemption, but what other movies should we be doing for Workplace Hall of Fame? We need some for this winter coming up. So, if you have a movie, an old movie you're passionate about, and you think we want to maybe evaluate the work qualities in it, let us know.
Let's go,
All
Mets.
right. Go Mets, right? All right. Thanks, everyone. We hope you all have a great weekend. We will see you back here next week.